Hello everyone and welcome to this Copernicus Marine Service practical session about Siemens data in Arctic. My name is Simon Millet. I'm a scientific engineer at Novartis in France and I will be your trainer during this session. Today you will use the Jupyter Notebook um, to see acidification in Arctic in air. You will also have a closer look at Siemens products, their structures, format, variable, and how to explore and plot them. Before starting, I have two general notes about Siemens Jupyter Notebook. A notebook is composed of different cells, and some of them have a code inside, like this, which you have to run in order to execute the code. To run a cell, you have two options. Either you click on this button here, or with a shortcut Shift plus Enter. It is not here. Um, if for any reason the canal is not working, you can press this button here to restart the kernel. The note is already not here. To So today, during this session, we will have a closer look of biogeochemistry variable in Arctic. Um, After exploring NetCDF file with input, we will plot one variable. Then we will compare many variable each other. We will create an animation with a GIF animation, and finally, we will see the evolution of pH over the years. As you know, the Arctic Sea cover a vast area. Most of it is uninhabited. Uninhabited. The human infrastructure there are scarce, but human activity have a significant impact of ecosystem in Arctic. Because of increasing level of carbon dioxide, CO2, in the atmosphere, which then dissolve in the ocean, cause acidification of Arctic Sea. Um, this process is part of particular concern in Arctic Sea for several reasons. The increasing of sensitivity of cold water, because with global warming, the water is warm. Um, and with melting ice, because melting sea ice leads to greater mixing of fresh water with seawater and changing ocean chemistry and accelerate acidification. The acidification affect marine organisms, particularly those that build their shell or skeleton from calcium carbonate, such as mollusk, coral, and certain type of plankton. Change in the population of plankton and other organisms affect higher species, such as fish, seabird, or marine mammals. Arctic acidification is a critical environment issue because it threatens a local ecosystem and the population depend on them. So this string we allow you to see the evolution of pH, so the acidification, over the month and year. Moreover, other parameters like phytoplankton, zooplankton will be analyzed. Now we will setting as the air environment. The Jupyter Notebook must be set with all the necessary available tools from Jupyter Notebook ecosystem. Here it is the library that is necessary for this training. There is a RNetCDF, is an interface for NetCDF format. ggplot2, but creating graphic and plots. Dplyr is a library to manipulating data. Mm, Air Color Brewers is a library for color palette in plot. NCDF4 is another interface for NetCDF file format. Grid Extra is a library to merge multiplot in the same figure. Lubridate is a library for fast and user-friendly analysis of data time. And Magic is used to image processing for animation. Here it is the first cell. First, we have an option is here for ignoring warning message, and below it is all the necessary library. So we can run this cell. We have a message, but it is just information about library. If you use another support and a library are not installed, you can use this command install point package and the libraries to install the necessary libraries. Now we receive data. So data is already downloading from Marine Data Store. You can click here and you see the windows. We use only one dataset. Um, Here it is the characteristic. So the full name is Arctic Ocean Biogeochemistry Analysis and Forecast. The spatial origin is the Arctic Ocean. So here you have minimum and maximum latitude and longitude. We only download the surface and the variable are as follow. And the time period it is a monthly means from January 2019 to December 2023. Um, the files are already downloading in this string in the folder data here. But if you want, you can try to download uh, in this link, but you should have your own Copernicus Marine credential, username and password. And if you do not have, w- we can create an account in free of charge and available here. Now we will begin to open the dataset to define input. So here it is the file. Um, it is the path, so it is on data and it is the name of the file. We run. Um, so here we load an etcdf file and we print to see all information in the etcdf. So there is 8 variables such as chlorophyll, concentration of chlorophyll, concentration of the oxygen. Um, there is also 4 dimension depth with size 1 because we download only the surface, latitude, longitude, and time. And here it is a global attribute to have more information about the dataset. To access data, donc here it is latitude. We use nsevar get to put value of latitude in this variable. It is the same for all variables. Um, to have more information about some variable, for example, here the zooplankton, we can see the dimension of this variable. So there is um, longitude, latitude, and time with dim, and we can see we can have a value of, for the first longitude, first latitude, and the second time. So it is very low. Um, we can also in air the index begin in 1, contrary to Python that is 0. It is for that here it is the first latitude, first longitude, 1, 1. We can also see the time, but time is a number. It is not a date. So to convert the date, it is the in date, it is the following cells. We put the origin of the origin date. We can see this information here. It is a unit second since January 1970. We can run the cell, and here I print all the date, and you see the date. Now we will plot a variable. First, here it is an option to determine the side of the figure. We run this cell. Um, then we create a data frame. Data frame is a table with all information or information of longitude, latitude, and the value. So it is a pH that we want. We can visualize the data frame. Here the longitude, here the latitude, and the value. This sales is the command to plot the map. We use ggplot. First, we define the variable with geom tile with the data frame. We specify the longitude, latitude, and the value pH. Then we specify the color scale, the option of the color bar with this function. We put a general aesthetic option, timeline. We define title and subtitle for a figure. Here it is um, an aesthetic option too, and here we define the size of all text. And then we plot the figure and save with ggSave. We save in the folder figure here. We run the sales up, and we can see the page around Greenland here. There is here an area where the pH is low, so the water is more acid than here. The plot is only for one time step. that we have defined in the data frame here because there is all longitude, all latitude, and first time step. Now we will compare different variables each other. For this part, we'll first create a plot function to simplify the code and to not multiply the same code. So here it is the function mapping that create a map function. It is the same code that we see above here. So we do not explain. We run the sale. And here we plot in variable p1 and p2 the variable SpCO2. It is the pressure of CO2 in surface and pH. In the function mapping, we should define four parameters, the longitude, the latitude, five parameters, longitude, latitude, the variable name, and the minimum and the maximum value. So for P1, it is longitude, latitude, a variable that the name is SpCO2, the name of the variable, and the minimum and the maximum value. So the plot will be between 25 and 50. We'll run on. And then with the function green orange, we put the two figures here in the same plot. And then we save on folder figures. We see the both figure and we can see a great similarity between the two maps. We the surface pressure here and the pH here. Partial pressure of CO2 in the ocean refer to the amount of CO2 in seawater. When the pressure increases, more CO2 dissolves into the ocean, accelerating the formation of carbon acid and lowering the pH. Conversely, when the pressure decreases, less CO2 dissolved and the pH increase. So here we have lower pressure, so uh, there high pressure, so there is a lower pH, so more acidification. Um, this results in a lower pH and disturbance of marine life um is very important. We have an impact important on organisms like a coral of shellfish to form their skeleton. Here we look the evolution of four variables: surface pressure, pH, phytoplankton, and zooplankton. Donc, we will make the same figure like this, but with four parameters. So here we define the four figure with the present, the pH, zooplankton, and phytoplankton. We will run this file and put all the plot in the same figure with this cell. Ah, here we have the four plot. Um, we notice a decrease in zooplankton when the pH is decreased. So here the water is more acid, the pH is low, and we can see here we can see ici that zooplankton is low. The number of zooplankton is low, contrary to this area. But we do not see a trend between phytoplankton and pH. Phytoplankton, ocean acidification may benefit some species of phytoplankton, but harm other. Um, Change in phytoplankton community can have a cascading effect on the food web. Food. Mesoplankton species are vulnerable to lower pH, so to acidification, which could reduce their population and affect food availability for higher trophic level. In in general, the Arctic, including Greenland water, is particularly susceptible to the effect of acidification, with potential ecosystem-wide impact due to shift in plankton community. It is possible to see other variables if you want, for example, nitrate, dioxygen, or other. You can try. Now we will create a GIF to see an animation to see the evolution of different parameters over 1 month, over the years for 1 month. We take an example for September. First, we define the index of September, so it is the time where we are in September. So it is the index 9, 21, 33, etc. And then we define a loop over the index where we create the figure. So partial the pressure of CO2, the pH, zooplankton and phytoplankton. We put all figure in the second plot here, and we save here. It is to not show the plot, and here we save all figures in folder figures for GIF. It is figure for GIF. We put one figure here. Here it is a list of whole PNG file, the directory we define. We see the directory, and here there is three lines. The first line is to load image. The second line is to hold the image, and here it is to create the animation with 1 second per image. It takes several seconds. Um, Thanks to this animation, we see we see the evolution of the parameters for the month of September between 2019 to 2023. If you want to see you can test over months to see the evolution during the years. Now, it is difficult to say if, in general, in this area, the pH is lower during the years or is higher. So in this part, we will look the evolution of pH over the years. We will take an average of the pH over the entire maps. Um, this will allow us to have a global vision of evolution of pH and not on the specific point or region. First, we extract the year from the time value. We initialize a list of to store annual means. We have then we make a loop over all the years where we select the index of each year. We select the pH data for this year. So we take only the value of pH over each year. We we calculate the means for each point, and if there is some non-value, no value of some point, we put none. And after we calculate the average on the overall maps for 1 year and store the annual mean in the list. We can run. It takes several seconds. We have the result here. Mm, we see that in 2019 and 2020, mean value are similar, but after value is decreasing. To better visualize the result, we plot the result with ggplot. We first create a data frame and then plot. Here it is the mean value of pH or in Greenland, and we can see that the pH decrease and therefore the acidification of Arctic Sea around Greenland. Even if the variation is small, it has a strong impact on biodiversity. The increase in chemical pollution in the Arctic due to mining, war, and marine transport is one of the factors behind the increase in concentration of CO2 and toxic products that increase acidification of Arctic Sea. Continued ocean acidification in this region has considerable consequences of marine food, particularly affecting organisms at the base of food chain such as zooplankton and phytoplankton. Mm, This training is now finished. We have successfully completed training. Thank you for your attention. We hope you enjoyed this training on the Arctic acidification provided by Copernicus Marine Service. You can try other dataset or modify the support to show other oceanographic phenomena. Have a nice day and see you soon. Bye.